Alright, so today we're at the London Gliding Club in the Cessna 172 in FS 2020, of course. This isn't modelled in FS 2020 as an actual airport, but you will see some of the gliders baked into the photoreal terrain from the air. But geographically this is pretty well done, it's pretty convincing. I know this area fairly well, this is right in my backyard. So we're going on a bit of a magical mystery tour today, and you can follow along if you have FS 2020. If you don't know where this is, you can start from Luton Airport, or London Luton Airport if you want, and if you take off on runway 25 and you fly due west for 7 miles, you'll just pass to the right of a very large chalk quarry, and immediately after that you'll go off right off the edge of an escarpment, which is what's immediately to our left here as we take off, and so you're over the field, and then you can follow along from here. And so we're just going on this little trip. I had initially intended this to be a look at the Wycombe Air Park scenery, sold by Orbix, not developed by Orbix, and we will look at that. That is our destination. But something else caught my eye on the way there, something unexpected, and I thought quite interesting and fairly topical. So we're going to take a look at a little bit of a diversion and take a look at that. So we're climbing out just over or just next to Whipsnade Zoo here. That's what that gigantic chalk lion cut into the hillside denotes. And we're going to pretty much turn onto a heading of 130. We want to climb to about 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet, and fly on this 230 heading. And we're heading for, I mean, you can do this visually, you don't really need headings or nav aids. I have dialed in the destination, Wycombe Air Park, on the GPS, although the GPS is pretty rubbish to operate in FS 2020, especially since you can't map the buttons. But that said, we're heading essentially straight ahead towards some fairly well defined bodies of water. So that's Tring down there. We've got Tring reservoirs, and then the furthest one in the distance is a big square reservoir. That's Willstone Reservoir. So that's all you need to know in terms of navigation for this leg. And we're actually not very far from Wycombe Booker, which is where Wycombe Air Park is situated. We're only about 20 miles, if that, to run. So this is obviously very flattering lighting at this time of day. We're about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, mid-January, in FS 2020. But this terrain is absolutely fantastic. This is default terrain, don't forget. And it's just beautiful. Everything is recognisable. I mean, I've not flown over this area pretty much in real life, but I do know the area from the ground. So we're flying over Ivinghoe Beacon towards Tring, and we should see down on the left there Pitstone Hill. But and that's one branch of the Grand Union Canal that you can see snaking off into the distance there, and then just below the nose you can see another branch. Well, I don't know the branches. One's the Aylesbury branch, one is, I don't know what it's called, but that's Pitstone Hill just above that chalk quarry. There's an awful lot of chalk workings visible in this area, and then what we're going to find is there's a big, off to our right we're going to see a large, well, not large, but a built-up area which is going to be Aylesbury. So we'll be pretty much heading direct to Aylesbury in a little while. So we're pretty much over the reservoirs now. We're going to keep on this same heading, following the canal there, and just off the nose, you might or might not be able to see, we've got Halton, which is an RAF base, and that's got a fairly well discernible X, two turf runways intersecting. So we're going to fly to that, and then once we're overhead Halton, we're going to turn due west, and we're flying towards, as I say, Aylesbury. What else? Stoke Mandeville, Princes Risborough, Wendover. Again, beautiful countryside to walk through, to go mountain biking in. Of course, we're under some airspace here. I think as long as we stay under 2,500 feet, we're pretty safe. But we've got Luton's airspace above us. If we go to the east, we're probably under Stansted. If we go south, we'll be, pretty much into Heathrow. So we're not worried about that today. But we're staying low. And anyway, the thing we're looking for, we want to be low. So we're pretty much over the top of Halton. You can just see the runway. One of the runways below the nose there. We're going to turn due west, and so coming into view to the right there of the nose is Aylesbury, and we're going to descend a little bit, and we're just going to look for something. We're going to look for something on the ground that I stumbled across accidentally, but it's pretty cool, and you can go looking for it for yourself if you want. I'm not going to give you too much guidance on what to look for. You can watch this video, and the beauty of this scenery is it's real terrain. All these landmarks are real landmarks, and it's all, this is not land class, so you can genuinely look for these real landmarks and go looking for this for yourself. So we're just skirting the bottom of the town here, and we should be looking towards Waddesdon. There should be a big wind turbine out there on the Berryfields site. It's hard to distinguish that in the sim from here. So that's what we're looking for. That very peculiar crop formation. We'll do a couple of orbits and get a look at that. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this was some kind of Easter egg, but this is a real thing. Well, it was a real thing. I'm sure it's not there anymore. And it's a crop circle that somebody carved into a farmer's field in 2018 in preparation for Donald Trump's state visit. And the story goes that at some point the flight path of Trump's aircraft was going to pass pretty much directly over here. This is very close to, I should say, the Prime Minister's weekend retreat, Chequers. That's very close to Wendover. I'm not exactly sure where it is from where we are here. But that's a very interesting formation, and I won't tell you what that says, but that Cyrillic writing above the word Trump is, shall we say, a fairly base epithet in Russian. So I think you'll agree that's pretty much on trend right now. What are we? January the 9th. So we're 10 days. Oh, there's that wind turbine. Actually, there seems to be two wind turbines there. I'm not sure if those are in the right position to be the Berryfields. That wind turbine is massive. It's something like 190 metres, or is it 160 metres tall? You can see that right from Dunstable Downs. Massive landmark. So we're going to head off down towards Booker now and have a look at Wycombe Air Park. There's something going on with the GPS here. I for some reason I can't get back to the map display here, so I'm just going to give up on the GPS. So that's probably High Wycombe down there to the left, and we should be crossing the A40 motorway, A40M. So there's the field ahead and to the left. What we'll do is we'll do some semblance of a proper join. We'll join overhead and we'll descend on the far side. 06 left is the hard strip, 06 right is a grass strip right alongside it. This is actually a very active glider field and I think microlight field, not sure about that. But it's a nice strip from up here. Now when I bought this strip, I bought it in the Orbix sale at Christmas, and I mean I bought it because it's local to me and it's a nice field, but I did buy it with some perverse very low expectations, and I say that because it's a strip that's developed by Pilot Plus, and if you've watched along my channel you'll know that I have bought one other Pilot Plus product. That was the X-Plane rendition of Block Island in the eastern United States, and it was just terrible. It's, you know, I mean it was embarrassingly bad, Block Island, and so I had resolved never to buy anything from Pilot Plus again. But then I looked at the photographs or the screenshots for this package and they look pretty good, so I went with it. It was cheap. Well, it wasn't that cheap, it was £10 I think, even in the sale, and it's a small scale airport. I'm not sure how much of the vicinity we're seeing here is a feature of the airport scenery or is here by default. I did pay a quick visit to Wycombe Air Park in the default scenery before I bought this, but I didn't pay too much attention to what I was looking at, to be honest. But this is pretty good, and actually this scenery, you know, when you get down this low, we're in the tail end of the Chilterns here, and you know this is anything but flat, this terrain. So we've got all these nice folds and sort of little valleys and so on, and you know the foliage, the forestry, shall we say, in FS 2020 is good. I mean the trees are a bit samey, it has to be said, but they're really dense and they work much better than the trees in P3D or FSX. So yeah, you can see that grass strip off to the right, and it's beautifully done. Of course, it's got the default FS 2020 grass, which is actually not realistic for, you know, a grass strip. It should be mown short, but of course it's all this sort of knee-high prairie grass, which looks great, but it's, you know, it's not the sort of thing you'd be landing in really. So there we go, touching down in our Cessna 172, touching down along there, and you know, this strip at ground level, I mean the grass is obviously inherited from FS 2020, it's not modelled explicitly. You know, the grass in that Block Island scenery by Pilot Plus was just terrible. It was like Flintstones cartoon grass. But so here, you know, this is looking good. The ground markings are good. The buildings from here, they look pretty good. Limited amount of modelling, obviously it's a very small airfield. We're not really going to take much of a look around, but you know, first impressions, there's a lot of active vehicles on this airport. I'm not quite sure how realistic that is. I hope that guy's going to get out. Yeah, okay, he stopped. Yeah, some nice, you know, weathered. I think the small and the weathered airports are much preferable for my purposes. But there we go, Booker Wycombe Air Park in FS 2020. It's looking pretty good, we've got to say. And with a bonus Donald Trump Easter egg. I'm presuming that crop circle, by the way, is in the FS 2020 scenery, not the, you know, it's far enough from here that I don't think it's part of the Wycombe Air Park package. But I can't be sure. So maybe you can let me know in the comments if you were able to find it or not.